now we're gonna move from the progression of when we go to chop a guy, he braces, we capture this single wrist. So I do my good whistle start, I try to chop him, run him over this side, he braces, near side hand comes up to shoulder, I drop to my near knee for a quick second to get him to this elbow. Once I get him to this elbow, my hand releases from the shoulder, captures the wrist. You guys can notice my thumb is part of my hand here, all right? I'm not grabbing like a C, all right? I'm using this kind of claw grip. So first it's on the shoulder, I drop to this knee, pull him to the elbow, capture wrist with my thumb as part of my hand. From here, I get back onto my toes. I'm gonna bring my hand to a butt drag and drag him down. From here, I like to take it out a little different than most. So a lot of coaches and wrestlers, you'll see open this hip, bring two hands to his hand and pull it out. Just like on my feet, I like to use my knees and my legs as hands as well. So once I have this underneath my opponent's body, I'm gonna put my outside knee on his elbow and my other knee in his hip. From here, I'm gonna start spreading my knees like a groin stretch as I push his elbow until his hand pops out, if you can see it. So we'll move this way a little bit, pull that underneath. So I'm gonna use my near knee in his elbow, other knee in his hip. I'm gonna start spreading until this hand pops out. Once this hand pops out, I can attack it with my other wrist, pull it out on the back, and now I can go to work. All right, face the camera. So I go to chop, he braces, pull him to this near elbow, capture wrist, run out to the side. From here, my outside knee lines up in his elbow, my inside knee lines up in his hip. My other hand on the other side of his body, I'm gonna use my elbow in his hip to make sure he can't scoot away and get his hips far out. So I'm gonna do this groin stretch until I feel his hand pop out from underneath his body. Once I feel that, I keep my chest on my opponent's back as I bring my other hand to it, pull it out to the back. Now I can go to work. So from here, I'm gonna start working into my bar. I'm gonna use my hands to place this on his back. Now I'm gonna replace my hands with my chest. So I'm gonna sink my chest onto his forearm here. Now I gotta keep my head and chest up because I can free up my hands by pinning his arm onto his back with my chest. If you see, he's gonna try to take his arm out.
Yeah, it's not coming out.
It's not coming out, all right? One, it's on his back, so he's in an awkward position, but two, by keeping my head up here and thinking about driving through with my chest, I'm able to keep this here and free up my hands to start working into this bar arm. So I start attacking at his elbow with my fist to get through. Once I break through this arm, I'm gonna put my fist right in the center of his back. I'm gonna slide. I'm actually gonna release my chest a little bit to bring his arm out to the side. If I don't do that, it's actually illegal, and this is a chicken wing. So if I don't release my chest and push it out to the side, then we might be in a little bit of trouble. But I actually do that so I can get out to the side, and now I line his elbow with my chest. So when I run my bar arm, I wanna keep my fist right in the center of his back, and I'm gonna run my chest into his elbow and think about driving his shoulder into his ear. So now, I'm not focusing on running him to his back. I'm focused on running his shoulder to his ear. And as I run his shoulder to his ear, he should really be turning himself. So I'm gonna put pressure, shoulder in his ear, shoulder in his ear, shoulder in his ear. If you guys can see, I'm actually blocking his body on the other side with my hand to prevent him from turning. So I want this guy to be able to turn himself. I want to be applying so much pressure with this bar arm that as soon as I get here and he's ready to go over, I can allow him to go and settle in for the fall.
A couple things, Joey, that I'm noticing here that's really good, and I wish I could explain the amount of pressure that's coming on. He never releases pressure on his top work, and so when he traps my arm there, his constant pressure, we talked about that before in other videos. And then, again, I love what you said about the progression there. He said that, when he takes the shoulder to the ear, which again, he has lots of pressure, he doesn't focus on necessarily taking me right to my back. That's gonna happen. That's a byproduct of really driving that shoulder to my ear to get in the fall. So show that one more time, as much as I'm not so sure that I want you to, but the pressure is really good.
Yeah, so again, guys, it was created from this initial motion. Once I get it to the side, again, using my knees to take it out, all right, which is contrary to our normal of opening our hips and bringing our hands to it. So I'm using my knees to take this hand out. Now I can attack it with my other hand and bring it to the back. From here, like Coach Perry said, I'm keeping my hands on his arm as I settle my chest down. Once I feel that my chest can replace my hands, that is when I can take my hands away. And again, guys, if I put my head down, it takes so much pressure off of his arm. If I have my chest on it and put my head down, he might be able to pull it out. Yeah. There is an automatic pressure difference. So this head up is what I actually think about of a Superman position, all right? All the weight is driving through this chest into his arm. Now I can start attacking his elbow for this bar arm. Once I get the fist to his back, remember, I'm gonna release the pressure with my chest to push his hand off to the side to make it legal. Now I can get off to the side, and if you guys saw, I do a little adjustment. Once I get off of his hips, once I clear his hips and come out to the side, I do a little adjustment to get this chest to his elbow. So my chest is in his elbow, and I'm running shoulder to his ear. That's what I'm staring at, blocking his body. We've all seen it. If we just try to run around in a circle, this guy just adjusts. So I need to sink back, get my chest right in this elbow, and now get height and start driving shoulder to his ear, shoulder to his ear. See how much height I have with my head and shoulders, guys? I'm not just trying to run around in a circle. I'm being very intentional with where I'm driving, where I'm putting my weight, until I'm ready to settle in for the fall. If I run around, I'm gonna lose that pressure. I'm gonna lose the position with my chest into his elbow. And, especially against double jointed guys, this is a way that I found to really prevent those double jointed guys from rolling their shoulders out. When you're putting so much pressure from their shoulder into their ear, you can only take so much. So that drive is what causes my opponent to really turn himself.
Hey, Joey, as before we close out this section, one thing I want you to talk about is, man, your attention to detail is phenomenal. So, you talk about your groin stretch where you're stretching my arm out from a bottom guy, my shoulder then extends, and you're blocking when you're driving, obviously shoulder to the ear. Your intentionality to the specific details. Obviously I'm assuming that takes a ton of repetition, but just talk about your mindset when it comes to the fine details of the sport.
Yeah, when I'm in there, guys, I know that these little things make a difference. I know, right? On the defensive side for wrestling specific, when I have a guy's hand underneath their body, they're gonna be grabbing their singlet, they're gonna be grabbing their shirt, they're gonna be grabbing their stomach, to do everything to not get this arm taken out. And having the little nuances of being able to use our knees as arms, all right, and really use those to spread, and we're using our entire body to take this arm out and set up our moves. If we try to muscle everything with our hands, one, we're gonna gas ourselves out, and two, it's just not gonna be as beneficial. When I get my knees involved there, this specifically, I don't need to do anything. The hand is out. I can actually even start doing other things. But again, very small attention to detail here in not opening up my hips here too. Once I clear this hand out, if I open my hips, this might give my opponent a quick option to scoot his hips into me and hide this wrist again. So I need to really be intentional that once I do get that hand out, I bring it up, all right, making sure everything's tight. He's not gonna be able to pull this arm out. Everything has a purpose. Just like in our hand fight, every movement from the top position has a purpose. Little adjustments, settling my chest into the shoulder, all right? Taking this really slow. I don't care if this is how I run the bar in real time, because eventually I can feel it. I can feel that eventually there's a breaking point where I'm gonna be able to just run this bar over the top and pin him. So those attention to the fine details, especially in a bar arm situation, I said it first, but I'm making you turn yourself. I'm not turning you.
No question.
I'm making you turn yourself by the pressure I'm creating and just where my body position is at.
It's good stuff.